Hi, this is Michael Dennis, and welcome to my tutorial, which I'm calling Heavy Thunderstorm Lightning Meditation Modal Pentatonics from 4-note groupings. So I'll start off with a story. If you want to skip ahead to the actual content, there'll be chapter markings below. So this was from April 26, 2008. So I was teaching guitar lessons at a local music store, and there was I guess a break in my teaching schedule in the evening, and there was a really heavy thunderstorm and lightning, and I just kind of did like a little kind of rest meditation. And during this thunderstorm, this idea came to me just kind of like a burst of inspiration with these 4-note patterns. So you can look below the video. There'll be a link to a document, a PDF that will show these diagrams. So I'll be mostly using the diagrams that show the dots. There's also a diagram that has 8 diagrams on it, and it'll show the notes of the pentatonic. So I'll probably be talking a lot about the note patterns of these pentatonics. Okay. So maybe what I'll do to start with for today is I'll just go ahead and talk about these 4-note groupings. So if you look at the top of the page, you have this. So you have the 4-note groupings on the 3rd fret, and then the next 2 diagrams, 4-note grouping on the 5th fret. Okay, then you go to the next 2 diagrams, you have the 4-note grouping on the 7th fret. Okay, and then you go to the next line, you have the 4-note grouping on the 8th fret. And then you have one more 4-note grouping on the 10th fret. Right, and then what's going to happen is something I talk a lot about. If you take these 4 notes here, you can move them here, same notes. Okay, and then you can also move them here. Right, so that's what's going to be covered on that first diagram. So I think what I'll do next is I'll just talk about the diagram. So the first one, F, G, A, C, D. So you can refer to the page that has the notes. F, G, A, C, D is D minor pentatonic. Okay, so then if you take the next diagram, G, A, C, D, E, that's A minor pentatonic. So if you put both of them together, F, G, A, C, D, it gives you basically an F major 7 chord. So that's mostly how I'm going to be using these. I'm going to take 2 modal pentatonics, and then I'll combine them to form this F major 7 chord. Now, here's just a little side note here. So you might think to yourself, well, this is really kind of theory, geeky, and you would expect that from me. But here's a very, very practical notice, and maybe the astute out there of you have already noticed this. Remember this lick. Sound familiar? Let me get a little bit different sound there. Right, that's the Jimmy Page lick from Stairway to Heaven. I'll do that one more time. Kind of interesting. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So that's just a practical usage of that. So how did Page come up with that little riff? I don't think he probably wasn't thinking of the 2 pentatonics, but he was certainly thinking about that F major 7th chord. F, A, C, E. Okay. Let me go on to the next diagram. So you got G, A, B, D, E. So that's E minor or E minor 7th chord. Okay, then the next diagram, A, B, D, E, F. So that's kind of B minor 7 flat 5 chord. Put them both together, you have kind of the notes of a G7 chord. Right, so that would work really well, say for like a blues kind of sound, a blues riff. Okay, next diagram. So that's F major 7. So what's happening here with these modal pentatonics? So you have the B, C, E, F, and the A. So that's F, A, C, E. So that's how you get it. And then you have whatever the fourth interval is of that mode. Okay, that's F major 7th. And the next diagram, B, C, E, F, G. So that's a C, E, G, B, C major 7 plus the F, which is the fourth of that mode. You put those two together and you get A minor 7. A, B, C, All right. So, for example, like let's say you wanted to take Jimmy Page's lick. So now that you know that that's part of this system, then you can do like a lick based on A minor. Kind of an interesting sound. I'll do that one more time. So, right? So knowledge is power. So we just took Jimmy Page's lick. That's one thing, and now we've changed it and made it into something else. So same thing would happen for the G chord. And now all of a sudden you have your next Satriani inspired riff. Okay, let's go on to the second line there. Okay, this is going to be B, C, D, F, G. So that's going to be like a G7 modal pentatonic. G7, okay, and then the D minor, C, D, F, G, A. So that's just like for a D minor 7th chord. You put them both together, and it ends up being B minor 7 flat 5. Yeah, so whenever I hear these, I always think of Jan Hammer, Mahavishnu Orchestra. That just sounds like something that he... I kind of hear that sound. Okay, let's do one. So the one more. Okay, it's going to be A minor 7th. So you have C, D, E, G, A. Now this one is not on the sheet with the notes. So C, D, E, G, A. That's A minor 7th. Okay, then D, E, G, A, B is E minor 7th. You put those two together and you get C major 7th. C, D. And notice how that's exactly the same as the first one. F major 7, and then the C major 7th is the same. So that's the beauty of these pentatonics, is that you have a lot of similarity between them. All right, so I think what I'll do next is I'll just kind of briefly go through the next. That's the third line. So the D minor pentatonic, F, G, A, C, D, A minor, G, A, C, D, E. Put them both together, and you have F major 7th. Okay, and later on in the video, I'll put a jam track on and then do this. Okay, so the next one. E minor pentatonic, G, A, B, D, E. B minor 7 flat 5, A, B, D, E, F. Put those together and you get G7 chord. G. Okay, next one. So this is F, I'm calling this F major 7th, modal pentatonic, A, B, C, E, F. Goes with the F major 7 chord, C major 7 modal pentatonic, B, C, E, F, G. Goes with it. Okay, you put those together and you got A minor 7th. And that would go well with a minor 7 chord. Okay, this is 1, 2. This is the fourth line now. So G7th chord, B, C, D, F, G, G7. D minor pentatonic, D, C, F, G, A for D minor. Put those both together and you get this B minor 7 flat 5 sound. Okay, and then the next one, A minor 7th, C, D, E, G, A, A minor 7, E minor 7th, D, E, G, A, B. Put those both together, and you have C major 7, C, D, E, C, D major 7. Okay, and I'll just do the next line now. So you'll notice how the starting points are the same. F. Okay, now jump down to the third line, and jump down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line. So I talk a lot about this in my videos. The idea of every two strings is the same finger. So depending on what kind of sound you wanted, if you wanted kind of a more kind of rock riff, or you wanted something more, in the middle, or so on. All right, let's do the last two lines there. D minor 7th, F, G, A, C, D, D minor 7, A minor 7th, G, A, C, D, E. Put them both together, and there's that F major 7. Right, so the outer notes of those, when you combine those two patterns, F, A, C, E, kind of like what Page does when he does his riff. Okay, the next one, E minor pentatonic, G, A, B, D, E, B minor 7 flat 5, A, B, D, E, F. Put them both together, you get G7 chord. Okay, F major for F major 7 chord, A, B, C, E, F. Right, so that's kind of that Lydian sound because of that B note. Okay, then the C major 7th, B, C, E, F, G. For the C major 7, put those both together, and you got A minor 7th. Okay, then we got the last line. Okay, so that's going to be let's see. Okay, so G7th. So B, C, D, F, G for the G7 chord. D minor pentatonic, C, D, F, G, A. And put them both together, and then you have this lick or set of notes that kind of outlines the B minor 7 flat 5 chord. B, C, D. Right, there's your root, and there's your 7th note, and then the very last one here. A minor 7th chord, C, D, E, G, A. Okay, and then the D, E, G, A, B, E minor 7. Put them both together, C, D, E. Right, so that's going to put those together. Okay, so there's a lot of different things I can say about this, but I think like I stated earlier, this was just something that came to me very, very spontaneously during like a kind of a meditation during a thunderstorm. And so I'm just sharing this with you many years later, so you can have both PDFs that you can look at and you'll notice. So to me, the thing that was interesting, how you have these, kind of 4-note patterns. So then, to my mind, when you're playing licks, I think it's interesting so you have, let's say you're on the F major 7 chord. You have all those chromatic fill-ins. So I think what I'll do here, before I do my ending improvisation, I'll just maybe sit on each chord one time. Okay, so this would be the F major 7th chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of play through those F major patterns, and then I'll just kind of freely improvise and add those notes in the middle. Okay, so let's just kind of see what that's going to sound like. That's F major 7. add some chromatics here. Okay, that was on the F major 7th. So I'll do the same thing on the G7 G. Okay, so once again you have these notes in the middle. So for example, let's go up to here G. So let's say I have G. There's that rectangular pattern. So you have this flat at 7 or a flat third. Yeah, or something I discovered, last like year and a half. I just thought this was kind of a cool lick, so I'm going to go here, or I can go here. All right, so that would work on the G7 chord. That's also a kind of a cool change if you're going from like G7, C7. So that's just a little bonus there, kind of a lick that I just discovered recently. Okay, so let me do the same thing. I'll play the G7, those patterns, and then I'll just kind of throw in these, those chromatics there. And this is iReal book, and I'm using. This is Pop Smooth. This is one of my favorite. I just kind of like this sound, just like smooth jazz. And this is metronome about 75. I'll just kind of jam around on this. So now let's go on to A minor 7. So this one is kind of interesting because A minor 7, depending on the context, you can say, well, you can use maybe Dorian. So here, yeah, I think what I'll do with this A minor, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'll start off playing the scale, and then I'm going to sort of do the thing that Satriani talks about. He talks about, so I know where my root is, and I know where the 7th is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purposely avoid playing those notes. So you have B, C, E, F. So I'm going to kind of use those mostly, and then every so often, I'll throw in the 7th, and I'll resolve to the root. So I remember him talking about this in some lesson I saw of his, where you kind of delay the resolution by not playing the root of the scale. So the scale first, and then I'll just kind of work with these B, C, E, Fs, trying to stay there, and then occasionally put in the root resolution notes on either side of that that little rectangular pattern. Here comes the pattern. Okay, now I'll play here. Same thing here. Now resolve. how that works. So by not playing that root and playing the notes above, then it creates a certain kind of tension. Okay, so let's go. Keep on moving on here. So B. So here's the B minor pentatonic, B minor 7 flat 5 here. Yeah, that's not a. Yeah, well, you use that a lot in jazz. So I wasn't planning on doing like a progression. Yeah, I mean that would work really well over like say a 2/5, like a B minor 7 flat 5. Yeah, it's almost like you'd have to maybe go to a different scale, like maybe Phrygian dominant there, something like that. But that's getting me off track here. I wasn't really thinking I was going to cover that specific thing today. Okay, I'll put the B minor 7 flat 5 on. Play through the scale here. And now I'm just kind of stick on the notes in the middle. That's a little, you put that in your back pocket there. So B minor 7 flat 5 chord, you can kind of treat it kind of like a D minor chord, and just play D minor pentatonic over that. Okay, so I think I'll do maybe one more for this guitar tutorial. I'll do the C major 7th chord. So that's going to be C D, E, and then C D E G, and then. Okay, and see if I want to do anything different with that. Yeah, I'll just do that. So I'll just mention to you, so then if you think about the third up from these chords, so for the G7th chord, you could use B minor 7th, all that material, and then maybe for the A minor 7th chord, you can use the C major 7th material. I think I did that in a previous video. Not necessarily going to do that today. Okay, here comes the C major scale. C major is this thing, and then maybe once I get up to here, maybe I'll just kind of D E. So 9 3. So if on G, 5 6, I'll kind of stay on that, and I'll eventually sometimes resolve to the 7. And sometimes to the root, which the root is kind of tricky to use with major 7. Sometimes you want to kind of avoid that note or not really land on it very, very long. C major 7. Going to stick here. Seven. That kind of sounds okay there. Middle here. isn't the greatest choice in the world. Okay, I'll just start wrapping this up here. So once again, this is sort of a geometric, look at the guitar. You're doing these, four note shapes. So it's kind of an interesting. I talk a lot about symmetrical patterns. I'm just kind of climbing up, kind of laddering that up. Gonna come down there. So you can use that for whatever kind of, if you're doing like a rock thing, or you can probably use it for like maybe a rockabilly thing or whatever. So let me think what I want to do for my ending improvisation. So thanks for listening and watching. I usually like to end with some kind of ending improvisation where I just kind of use the principles of the video, but then maybe kind of get a little bit freer with my exposition. Okay, I think I'll end with, I had a couple different progressions here. This would be 2 bars of A minor 7, 2 bars of G7, 2 bars of F major 7, and 2 bars of G7. So I could have gone to the E, kind of make it kind of like that Phrygian kind of thing, but I'm just going to kind of come A minor, G7, kind of flamenco, F major 7, and then back to G, and just kind of see what happens. So I'll move the mic out of the way. So once again, nothing really planned here. We'll just kind of see what happens with this one. Okay.